A best of 3 PvT between two amazing players. In the bottom left-hand side, we're going to kick this one off with the pink Protoss. This is Zest. And he's taking on the red Terran. We don't get to cast him all so often, but when we do, it's a lot of fun. It's Maru in the top right. So this is a series from the King of Battles qualifiers. The King of Battles, a $30,000 tournament put on by Alpha X, and this is the qualifiers of this. The replay packs just got released to people who bought them, so we've got we've got a whole bunch of games I want to cast from A, the qualifiers, and B, the main event. So we're going to be doing a lot of these games for the YouTube channel over the next week and a half or 2 weeks, maybe depends how many series exactly I want to cast. So obviously, if you are watching this on YouTube, hello. This is actually kind of that kind of live stream sort of YouTube crossover where I need to make some YouTube content. We're in the middle of 2 different tournaments, and we're just kind of doing that little bit of a combo, you know. So yeah, that's basically where we're at. That's what we're casting here. So obviously, if you're watching on YouTube, you guys know the drill. Hit that sub button. We've not had a YouTube video where we've said that for a while. Been a little bit slow on the subs lately, but we did get past 30,000. So thank you so much for all of that. And of course, don't forget to like the video as well if you do enjoy it and help other people find the content. So this is Maru Zest best of 3 TvP. And again, we've got so many. I mean, we're going to be casting replays from players like Bjorn, Serral. There's going to be so many great games that come out of these qualifiers. That did come out of these qualifiers and the main event. So like I said, we'll have a whole bunch of this on the YouTube in general in the future. And on the stream as well. We'll probably be covering a few of them on stream to make some stuff happen on the stream for a couple of days here and there. So yeah. If there's any games in particular that you saw from this event or you heard about from this event you'd like me to cast, obviously let me know down in the comments below in the stream chat. As we just get off to a fairly regular start, it's a Reaper Expand, it's a Nexus coming in after the Cybernetics core, and very much so just a very typical way of setting up into TvP, right? Just nothing really too crazy at all about that, just very typical, very standard opener. Really very much so just what you expect to see for the first couple of minutes. Now, Maru is going to try and get the bunker up behind the mineral line, which is a little trick we've seen a lot of players trying as of late. I really feel like a lot of the pros players have been very good at dealing with this, though. As the Reaper actually, I mean, Zest actually saw this with the probe as well, by the way. It hasn't done anything about it. Now chasing this Reaper down. Looks like he's going to allow this bunker to go up, and that means the Reaper is going to deny mining on the natural for a good amount of time. It forces the shield battery. That's a pretty big deal as well. So, Reaper gets into that bunker. Now, this Adept coming through is going to take a few extra shots. Also, Twilight Council from Zest in the main base. Also on the way up at the moment. I'm just going to be seeing, again, the Reaper and the SCV continue to chip away at the frontier. Shield battery is there and healing up this Adept. As the SCV hops in, hops out of that bunker, having a fun little time at the moment. Popping a grenade to pop the Adept to the side. The Stalker as well coming through is going to be able to get that SCV. Nope, jumps back into the bunker. This is what's so annoying about it. It's why you need a shield battery. The probes are literally long distance mining instead of mining the natural. And that's how much damage you've done here early as Maru by getting this bunker up. Again, interesting that Zest kind of let that bunker get up in the first place. We'll see a Hellion on the way in the starport coming up. That's going to be the second Hellion of the game. So we're already talking about Maru maybe looking toward Hellions as a way to deal some damage here. We've seen Hellions really be kind of a, the kings of early game TvP as of late. But look at this from Zest. Dark Shrine down on the natural. Now, Maru didn't get to see this. In fact, Maru did get to see the Twilight, but that's about it. So we'll see if he can figure out that this is in fact going to be some DT play and see if he can get a response up to it. As he is going to be without a lot of units at home. These 3 Hellions are going to drop across the map. He's going to have about 7 Marines when these DTs hit, maybe 8. And that's about it. So if these Marines are out of position, if you don't have the right amount of scans or detection, this can fall into you can fall into a lot of trouble very quickly, basically. These Hellions setting up in the main base. The medevac comes out, going to lift those Hellions up and start making their way down to the bottom left-hand side. So Hellions going to make their way out down to the bottom left. It's going to be seeing this War Prism is now out and moving, making its way toward the upper right. Hellions going to drop into the main very soon. Obviously, GTs are about to arrive now. Good news is there's a Raven out, so you're going to get some detection. That's a pretty big deal. So we've seen our Hellions run straight in, and these probes already in a good bit of trouble. 4 workers down, make that 5, 6, 7, 8. Back up to the top side to get to 10, 12. Fantastic start so far from Maru. Gets 12 probes early. Now here come the DTs, and what can they do? 5 kills instantly, even though the Raven's on its way. A big part of this from Zest should be that he's able to lift up those DTs and save them for the future. And obviously sometimes from this you even go into some Archons. On the left side, this medevac takes a shot of damage. Obviously, keeping the Hellions alive is fantastic too, because now there's still a threat going forward. So it's something else you have to worry about here. So brings the 2 Archons in, auto turret dropping down, and the Archons have to back away. And pulls back down the bottom. A couple of Hellions trying to come in, and a few probes still going down. I mean, the fact that you get 5 more probes while Zest only finds 3 more SCVs, and this is just all about Maru so far. It's been non-stop. The SCVs going down. The tank setting up from Maru over here. Stim pack +1. Combat shields all setting up. Charges Chrono Boosting on that Twilight Council. I mean, at this point, Maru's obviously getting into all of his upgrades, and he's coming out of this on pretty much the same work account, which when you combine mules into play, means you're in a very good position as Maru compared to where Zest is at. And you can just see Zest, I mean, he's finally getting up into these gates, getting that charge, and that's all necessary, but he's not being able to afford a forge. He's not being able to do much of anything, and I think this attack from Zest, pretty much going to be all in. Going to go through with the charge lots and just try and break, charge lot Archon, basically, see what he can do. I can understand the reason here for Zest. I don't think it makes perfect sense in a way. He is actually still building probes, so maybe he's not really that committed, or he just wants to make sure he's got economy to power up his reinforcements. But it feels like he's going to go for this, and he's going to have a bad time, because Maru's just got Stim, Bio, tanks defensively. And I don't think I don't think there's wins for Zest, but I do not disagree that it's necessarily one of his better options. It comes down just to the Adept. This is going to be a bit awkward because Maru is now on the map as Zest moves in. So this is where Maru is obviously maybe going to be a little bit weak. He is going to try and hold this wall. I mean, the big thing here for Zest is that he might be able to get on top of the production while Maru will not be on top of the production. He'll just be starting on the 3rd base. So this is where it can turn around a little bit. You can see the SCVs go running. The Bio's cleaned out the 3rd. Now moving forward. It's going to clean up everything over here. As now Zest's going to recall a little bit. It's going to be seeing Bio continuing through. It's going to go into the main base. Just going to go all the way through here. A couple engineering bases coming in. I mean, this is the big question, I guess, if Zest can eventually clean up Maru's army. He's got Maru floating. So now Zest's going to try and clean up this army. The couple of auto turrets already coming down here. I think Maru's actually going to hold on, kind of. He's got so much army supply. As the probes are going to try and pull into this as well. But Maru's army is just way too good in the end. So Zest gets, honestly, off to a better start in the base trade. And then, obviously, eventually you have to come home and protect yourself. Otherwise, Maru can force a draw because you don't actually have an air unit to kind of fight a command center or anything. So you have to come back home as Zest, and that's where Maru's army power really comes to show. And that is how Maru ends up winning this first game, just looking extremely powerful toward the end. That was pretty sick, in all honesty. Yeah, I mean, you look at the position, right? It's kind of a weird one. Let's just go back a little bit and do a little analysis. So, right here, Zest is like, he gets the better end of this base trade, but Maru's army is still strong. So now Zest needs to get home and try and defend a base, or at least keep some mining going. And he maybe just goes home too soon. Like, could he have gone now? Probably. Like, what's he going to do? He's going to run into the middle of the map and then recall? Now you've lost the natural expansion. If he'd recalled so much sooner, he could have maybe cleaned this up and it could have been very different. So, yeah. A little bit of a funky one. All right, GG's. And that is obviously going to be Maru to take game number 1 here in this best of 3. Down a map in the bottom right-hand side will be the pink Protoss player who almost made a weird, rough start of the game work out, but he just did not have the army in the end. It is Zest. And honestly, that probably went as well as it could do for Zest, because let's face it, he was extremely behind early. He did not have an army to take a straight-up fight. What he was looking to do didn't look like it was going to work, and then because Maru moved out, it turned into a base trade, and again, to me, that's like best-case scenario and more. I don't think it gets any better than that, honestly. Top left-hand side, our red Terran player is Maru. And he is going to open this second game up with a barracks out down to the bottom side of the map. So racks out down to the south. And that's going to rally up into this main base as the probe comes through. Is going to see this racks and is now going to go in and nibble away at this SCV. So SCV taking a couple of shots. The refinery here from Maru is on the way up in the main. Just going to see the depot. Oh, that's kind of cute. So what he's done here is he's built this depot. Because the barracks gets found, he builds the depot to protect himself. So it basically means that the depot, he tries to put a bit more HP on it. The depot kind of blocks, but with 2 probes, he's actually able to get a cancel on the depot. Is Maru actually going to be able to finish this off? Well, he's going to get another SCV across. Obviously, he's already lost some building time here because he started the depot. He built the depot a little bit further. As this SCV going to show up and is going to be able to finish this barracks off. So racks will get cleaned out there. And the Reaper on the way. Just going to quickly address this as people already asking. I'm sure it'll be asked more. Maru has a Team NV tag because Team NV is just a clan. It's like nobody in Korea has their actual clan tag apart from probably Zest. So the Team NV is just a clan. It's like a group of players. It's not an official team. Like it's confusing because it has an official team. Maru is still part of Jin-Air, but it's, clan culture is a big thing in Korean StarCraft, and Team NV also has a clan, and Maru represents the Team NV clan. There's also another clan called like Into the Clan. That's a popular one. You'll see a lot of players in Team Into the Clan, for example, like Solar and Special. It's not the actual team. Don't really take clan tags as any meaning here in the Korean scene for the most part. All right, factory is going to be finishing up in a few moments' time from Maru. So getting that completed, and the command center now on the way in the main base. Fourth gate is starting up already here from Zest. As our Stalker just going to nibble its way through that racks, and now this Reaper heads off out into the center of the map. So a couple of Reapers into the middle. The Stalker from Zest coming through. A couple of gateways getting set to go, so those are building up as well. And just getting this all ready and rolling as we see a CC finally on the way in the base. Obviously has to be a little bit delayed. What's interesting is we're going into the third Reaper now. We've got Hellions rallying across the map, so Maru might just look for like a hardcore dive into this mineral line. Look for a whole bunch of worker kills here in the near future. A couple of Stalkers will come out to the left. The Reaper gets caught, the new one. And the Stalkers actually get bopped to the front. Next, I'll take a few more shots as the Stalkers moving around, and well, Robo facility's on the way up now from Zest in the main base, so he's on his way to Robo. This has been a weird game. It's been a slow startup. Maru still has a chance to get probe kills. I mean, I don't know why Zest has left his natural completely undefended. He's warping in units aggressively across the map, and I don't mind that because obviously Maru has put a lot of it. Well, his barracks is flying home, so slash flying in the main, so he's got no production out of that. He's built Hellions out of the factory, so he doesn't have a lot of straight-up standing fighting units. This siege tank is all he's going to have back at home, and there's 4 Stalkers, 5 Stalkers on his front doorstep already. Robo about to finish, so he can make a Prism and keep this aggression up with some micro potential. Tank will siege. Stalkers will not get through this tech lab just yet, and that's so far as a hold from Maru. And these Stalkers will get pushed back, one of them going down, and that's where the Prism comes into place. You can jump over this wall. Ah, wow. Incredible hold for Maru, considering he has nothing other than that siege tank, basically. Banshee on the way. He's still got this medevac down here. That's lifted up the 2 Reapers and a Hellion in toward the main. Probably gets picked off. It's just going to be seeing a couple of other Stalkers here from Zest coming through, and the Stalkers going to be able to keep this medevac pushed back over the left-hand side. So medevac gets pushed back to the left. A couple of extra racks coming through, and Maru is going to go all the way back home for the moment. Maru bringing this tank back and sieging up. Orbital Command is going to go and land. These Stalkers from Zest just going to continue to the upper left-hand side. I mean, honestly, the Stalker number's still good. Remember, they're not going to be having Blink like they usually do, but right now, they could genuinely just run into this. There's a siege tank in the natural, one in the main, but I mean, you can actually stay out of reach of that siege in the main. You can just come in here, kill off this tank, and then you're basically denying the natural expansion. Maru has a Banshee on the map, but that doesn't help defensively if it's on the other side, so that isn't helping either. And that is problematic. That's a huge problem here as this Raven's about to pop out from Maru. I mean, this tank now, I mean, you can't out-repair this Stalker fire. And the Stalkers, I mean, he's going to lose a couple because he doesn't pull back. He doesn't target fire Marines, but I don't think it matters right now. Zest just has so much more. The opening of Maru, I mean, 8 probes was fantastic. But it just kind of goes to show that the opening was kind of bad in the first place because he got 8 probes, and that's clearly not going to be enough here anyway. Knocks down these depots. A couple of Marines going down. On the other side of the map, this Banshee does get 7 probes. So he actually gets a good few kills with the Banshee at least, so trying to even out the damage taken. But the big difference is there's a natural expansion in position mining from Zest, and there is not from Maru. And that means that Maru is only going to end up falling further behind here as a Warp Prism comes up, Gravitic Drive. Twilight Council 2 makes a lot of sense. I mean, don't get me wrong, Zest's actual army is not great. It's just unupgraded Stalkers, but Maru's army is not in a position to move across the map against this, and because of that, Zest is going to kind of get away with it. And now he's on his way to a Disruptor, so he'll at least move his way into something. He's going to get another Siege Tank kill. I mean, the tanks are the most dangerous part of this army, so if the tanks are going down, you're in trouble. He's going to have an Auto Turret dropped on him. The Stalkers will go to the side. He could obviously recall out if they feel they need to. He decides to fight into the Auto Turret, which is also unnecessary. I mean, Maru just can't seem to get to his natural expansion now, especially now that he's lost the siege tanks. That's a major loss. So that's a real shame, as we do have the Robo facility popping out a Disruptor. That's going to start moving through. These few Stalkers from Zest are going to move into the middle of the map as well. And a couple of engineering bays from Maru setting up in the main base also. So all of that coming in. As you see, Fuzel's going to start unloading here, and here we go. Stalker's coming into this. Raven gets picked up. Marauder goes down. Tank's going to go down. All of these SCVs are in trouble. And it looks like that is going to be the cleanup right now. This is just going to do enough. With the Prism Micro added in, it's just that little bit extra. Maru types out GG just before the Banshee goes down, and he drops a double scan as well, just checking if Zest is on 2 bases or 3. It is just 2 bases, but it's also just 3 gateways. I mean, at the end of the day here, guys, the opening for Maru just put him into a bit of a rough spot, and he wasn't able to ever really recover from that. And ends up being a tied-up game, 1-1, going to a third map with everything to play for. Game 3 starts on the top left-hand side of the map with our pink Protoss player. This is Zest, and we're here on Lightshade. As we've got down in the bottom right-hand side, the red Terran player from Genetic Green Wings, it is Maru. And we get ourselves to a final map between the two of them. So 2 kind of interesting games. Obviously, that first one, that base trading scenario. That second map, the kind of the weird, well, not even a weird proxy, but the follow-up to the proxy. A lot of units and really not much at home. And eventually, Zest is just able to get enough up to power through and to overwhelm on Maru's side of the map. It really leads me to believe we'll see something crazy in this game number 3 as well, right? These games have not been the most regular of games so far. They've not been the most normal of happenings. Barracks building in the main. As you see the gateway of Zest out across the upper left. The probe gonna come through. Moving up to the top side. And back along over the left-hand side here. So yeah, this track's gonna finish up in a few moments' time. Just gonna be seeing the gateway about to complete here from Zest in the main. Anyway, I guess finish. Just gonna see our SCV moving through, and yeah, so far so good. There's that orbital. Now Reaper coming on up. Nexus and the Cyber Core to follow. I like it so far. I like it, you know, very standard. Maybe give us a normal game, obviously. I actually wouldn't mind to see kind of what Zest can do in a longer, more regular game against Maru. It's kind of weird. I feel like I haven't cast Zest in forever. He's just not been playing in anything I've been casting or commentating. I've been doing a lot of European stuff, and the Korean stuff I've been doing, Zest just not being a part of it. He wasn't part of the Gold Series Team Championship because he's not on a Chinese team, and yeah, it's been kind of weird. I thought it when I was casting the intro in the first game. I was like, man, I haven't said that name in a while, you know? So yeah, Zest. Kind of here to maybe show us what he can get up to, of course. As we are gonna drop that bunker behind the mineral line. Man, I can't believe that Zest lets this happen again. This time, at least, there's a Stargate on the map, so, you know, you could argue he didn't have a unit out early to really do anything about it. I mean, that's a very fast Stargate. But maybe that's something, I mean, Maru, you know, you look at his information here, he realizes there's no Adept early, you see the Stalker timing. It's possible he even says, well, what the hell are you spending your money on? And begins to realize that there's something a bit funky on the map. He is building a bunker back at home. I mean, the thing is, you're just not going to mine from this natural for so long. It's so good to get this bunker up, and yeah, I mean, there's not even a pylon down here, so you can't even build that shield battery we talked about in the last game, so you can see the Stalker taking some pretty serious damage on its shields. Like, there's just no way for it to regen that. As the Reaper actually pops out there to force the Stalker to keep on moving, SCV going to get a little bit of repairing done. It's a little bit more done. Good timing here as the Stalkers fire, obviously, then the SCV can come out, repair, jump back in. Oh, he is going to lose it, and now the Reaper will chase, though. And if you get a Stalker kill out of this, I don't think it's all that bad. You lose the bunker, but you kill a Stalker, like, okay, fine. That's amazing anyway. You kill an early game unit. Now you're going to get a probe as well. Yeah, because there's only one Stalker, although you actually missed a shot on that probe, and because of that, we'll lose the Reaper. Here comes the Oracle. This is the most important thing right now. Maru's on his way to a Cyclone. Can Zest do enough damage with this? A few Marines popping out of that bunker. Into the main base flies the Oracle as the first Marine. Takes a few shots. SCV taking a couple hits as well. SCV is just going to pull straight away from the natural expansion. There's a little bit more damage being done. Twilight Council is halfway done. Warp Gate coming up. 2 more gates still coming into play. Just seeing this Oracle is back around to the top side of the map. Cyclone beginning to establish as well. Raven on the way on the starport. Just being safe, I mean, you play in Zest, you never know when DTs are going to show up. But of course, more than the DTs, the Raven has so many uses in this TvP. You know, from interference matrix to anti-armor missiles, there's almost always a use for a Raven. Especially early in the game, you know, the earlier in the game it is, the more impactful that Raven, singular Raven, can be. You know, you take down one Colossus now, that's going to be huge in comparison to taking down one Colossus when there's 4 of them on the map. Right? So Cyclone goes for patrol in the main base. The Oracle is up top and hasn't really achieved all that much just yet, has it? Just chilling out up there as a couple of shield batteries coming down. We see a blink upgrade, Corona boosting. And, yeah, this barracks going to go into a tech lab and Stimpack will start. So starting up that Stimpack here. Plus 1 attack coming in as well. On the engineering bay. And again, our few Stalkers just making their own way around, trying to figure out where they want to go to. Dark Shrine is building on the back of the Naturals. Getting that Dark Shrine up and running. Blink coming through, a few Stalkers coming through. I mean, yeah, I guess it is Zest, right? So I guess the Dark Shrine makes sense. He's got the Raven now, and, well, let's see how well it goes. Let's see if Zest can do anything, because to be fair, even with the Raven earlier, Zest was able to get quite a bit of damage done. The difference this time is that it's a Raven, and other units prepared to help deal with the DTs. Last time the DTs were super early, so there wasn't that many units on the map, just the Marines. And so the DTs were still able to do quite a bit. This time everything's at home from Maru. Not expecting a huge kind of wave of success there, as you just have a ton of Stalkers onto the map, and extra gates coming up. It's just going to be one DT from Zest. It's not even going to go that overboard with it, and unfortunately he runs it up into the main base, which is where it's going to die instantly. The next one in the natural, there was already a missile turret in the back, so in a way it was kind of the right decision, but it was also not a good decision, right? It still didn't work out. And Stim Pack is about to be done, so we're going to see Maru with the first push, and look at this army supply difference. 53 army supply to 21. I mean, are you kidding me? That's a lot of army in favor of Maru right now. Charge over halfway done, +1 attack. Still coming. Maru just has a SCV sat in this main base as well, by the way. As he's now going to hold this high ground, he's just going to say, oh, Stalkers, hello. Hey, the Stalkers just blinked to the right. If there was anything reinforcing from Maru, he could have caught those Stalkers. That would have been great. He turns back around for them again, and Zest not expecting that move. And in a game where you're already talking about Maru's push looking deadly, now Zest is losing Stalkers left, well, not really left, right, center, just on the right side all the time. Maru's played very well to deny these Stalkers, by the way. I mean, this is fantastic stuff. And now he's just going to keep on pushing to the left. Can Zest find a defense? It's going to come in the form of Zealots. If there's going to be a hold here, it's just going to be Zealots overwhelming. He's going to need to get some somehow very fortunate mine hits on his side. Thing is, Maru only has one tank. It's not like he's on 4 tanks here. Then Zealots would be even better. 1 tank, and then Widow Mines. And Widow Mines are so good against the Zealots. That battery will not survive. Let's see, as the Zealots start to move forward, the Stalkers come in. The Stalkers actually eat some of the Widow Mine shots, but the Zealots just go down anyway. Some Zealots will flank in from the bottom side of the map as well. Well, I mean, as a few reinforcements show up, he's actually fighting auto turrets, which is obviously far from ideal either. There's Maru. Will he just push through for his third base right now? No, he will not. He will take a step back, and he'll just let himself regroup here, but Zest is absolutely on the run already. So, yeah, Zest is absolutely in some trouble as a few Stalkers wanting to move up this ramp, unable to get there. Revelation dropped onto the Bio Army once more. Our Stalkers still moving out to the bottom side. Actually going to run into a couple of these Widow Mines. Able to pick those off and take those down nice and quickly. And now, find a few SCVs. So a few SCVs are dropping as well here. That's 5 workers killed. Going to recall back up to the top left-hand side. And our Bio Army actually catches an Oracle as it moves. Well, this isn't bad. At least you're doing some damage and now maybe getting back to defend as well. In theory, it's like the perfect play from Zest. Just will it do enough? That Raven's still alive too, by the way. It's kind of scary because it's like if that gets a big cast off, it can be game changing. It's so low, you know, the Stalkers are so desperate to just get rid of it. Blinks back now against the Widow Mine, but Armory is up, so no detection here. Widow Mine cannot be killed. That's just a dead Nexus. Once again, has to cancel that immediately now. This might be enough Zealots to just charge into this. Again, the Stalkers eat the Widow Mine shot instead of the Zealots. There's the anti-arm missile, though, and that's what I'm talking about. That Raven's so low, it's so frustrating that it's not gone. And then it actually makes a difference in this fight, because it's going to mean those Zealots die way more easily. Although Maru decided to turn around to fight those Zealots, and then Zest kind of said, actually, I can fight you. I still think it's great for Maru. If you look at resources lost, it's going to be heavily in his favor. 5.8k to 3.5. And that's a big difference that Maru has opened up already in a game where he's mining more than Zest as well, remember. Just with the natural kind of way that this works. Like, Zest had a little bit more, but now he's starting to mine way more. His third base setting up, getting fully saturated. Zest is running out of anything here. He's going to, I mean, turn this into a bit of a base trade again. Maybe the better way to go about it. Just try and make it weird and try and make it wacky, but he's going to run into the exact same situation as last game, which is that eventually Maru's army is just going to be too good. And Zest doesn't really have a way to play. You know, Zest can't just kill every single building because Maru will float off somewhere. So eventually you have to fight this army. And Zest's army's not set up for that. The only thing I can think of is if he can somehow get even more Zealots out, but he's already supply blocked. If you could get more Zealots out and maybe overwhelm with Zealots, then I could maybe see Zest winning an army fight. You know, Zealots can be hard to get rid of. If the mines don't go correctly, it is possible. Maru down to 53 workers, so The problem is, again, though, Zest supply block. Zest not going to have any production left by the time, if ever, he gets out of this supply block. So it's going to come down to an army fight now with DTs. That's huge, but guess what's even more huge? The fact the Raven is still here. I mean, can you believe the Raven is still around? I will continue over to the left. The probe's going to go out to the bottom side. Got some DT setting up, moving into the main base. I mean, it's just the Raven just being able to detect these DTs late game. If Maru can't detect the DTs right now, if these CCs are lifted and he can't deal with the DTs win the game. But the fact there's still a Raven as Maru goes down to 1 SCV. Probes have the money to build a Nexus, and I guess that's got to be the plan. He's being revealed right now. Maru knows there are probes on the map, though, and I think he knows that Zest will have a base to rebuild. So he's not going to wait around. Maru's got nothing to wait for. Like, he could mule. Can he protect this Raven in the fight? There's not even that much anti-air that can be, you know, jump on top of it. Maybe the Stalkers. And obviously the Archons could fight it as well, but how do you actually get on top of the Raven? That's what I mean. How do you get into range of it? You just don't. Double Matrix on the Archons, and this is going to be Maru coming in for the cleanup. He's going to get one of the Archons. Well, the probes. I mean, there's so many probes. The probes are actually starting to fight this off. As Maru will turn around, and he'll chase the probes down. Zest still trying to stay in this. I mean, the probes actually make a really good buffer. I can't believe he's now killed the Raven. There's not a single DT left. That said, I mean, all the commands are elsewhere, and they are able to drop mules if needed, drop scans if needed. So it's not like before when they were floating around and maybe wouldn't have been able to scan anything. Oh, I think Zest is still dead, obviously. It's just those probes did a great job of tanking. There's not a lot of damage up, but not a lot of Marines. So the probes actually act as a really good buffer. Of course, you don't have to fight the probes. You could also just go and try and target the Archons. He's going to get the Nexus. Force that cancel. As Maru lands a starport here. Maybe he could go Cloak Banshee. It's a risky play if you don't know if there's an observer out or not. I don't know if he scanned this army. He's going to get this Archon right now, though. It gets caught in front of the probes. Also a big problem is Zest being revealed once again. He's going to lose an Archon again. He just cannot fight this army of Maru. If you can't fight this army of Maru, he'll clean up all of your buildings, all of your structures, and that's GG. Maru will take this one 2-1. This is a really entertaining game, though, actually. I know it got weird, and I know it got kind of a little bit random, but it was actually really, really cool. So, especially toward the end, those probes giving Zest a little bit more hope for just a little while longer. It was a good game. It was a good series, actually. 2-1 in favor of Maru. I'm glad we picked this one to cast to start off our King of Battles coverage. Again, we're going to be obviously on the YouTube/stream. Bit of a combo. Going to be covering quite a lot of the games from this event because it's a really awesome event. There was some really great games that happened. So I'm going to be covering a lot of stuff from this. So if you enjoyed, again, if you're on the YouTube, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you on the next upload tomorrow, of course, on the day after. We upload every day here on the YouTube channel. So thank you so much for watching. And I'll say goodbye to you guys on YouTube.